Okay, so yesterday my trusty accomplice and I went through the sit-rise test and how to get up and down off the ground more gracefully. So today we will be focusing on some strength exercises that can help you to get up and down off the ground more gracefully. But just to loosen up, we will quickly go through those mobility exercises from yesterday's session, and then we'll jump into a little bit of strength and balance. So depending on how we go for time, we'll do balance. I'm sure we'll have enough for a few minutes at the end. So speaking of balance, have you seen her incredible balance? I mean, it is really impressive. Look, come on. Oh. She's more of a jumper than a balancer. Anyway, enough about that. So the sit-rise test, just so we can review, is a really good indicator of mobility and function and balance and strength. And if you are hoping to improve your ability to get up and down off the ground more gracefully, it's a good one. So you have to stand with your feet together, dog optional, and get down to the ground with your legs crossed in a seated position. There's no way I'm going to get up with her, so offload the dog, and then you need to be able to get up again from the ground without losing your balance, without putting your hand down, if you want full points. So maximum of 8 points, bless you, swab you. Maximum of 8 points. If you put down a hand or if you lose your balance, you lose half a point. So sit-rise test. The mobility exercises, the warm-up exercise that we did, we'll go through them quite quickly just to loosen up because they make you feel good. So I'll go through, there were 3 different options for each one. I'm just going to choose which one I'd like to do because I'm the boss. So, resting one leg on top of the arm of the couch because it's a really comfortable height for me, and then just lowering your chest towards your knee. You can take some weight on your other leg, get some help from your assistant, and just gently lowering your chest towards that knee, up and down. That's all you're doing to get a nice stretch on the outside of your hip. We'll do 5 or 10 on each leg. And then swapping legs. You can move your chest in a slightly different position to change the stretch on the outside of your hip. So there's our outside hip, little mobility test. The next one we did, I'm going to use the couch because I do quite like it for this one, is one knee on the couch, on the seat of the couch, toes on the back, and you gently push your hips forward. If that is too strong for you, you can use the arm of the couch. You just have to stand sideways. So then you've got your foot, your toes on the arm of the couch. Just gently push your hips forward to get a stretch on that leg, the knee that's on the seat of the couch. And then relax and gently moving in and out. And then you can use the other arm of the couch for the other leg, or the back of the couch if it's at a nice height for you. There should be no pressure in your knees, should feel really good. Doing 5 or 10 times. Wait, couch. There's that balance, beautiful balance. So that's for the front of our hips. We've done the sides of our hips and the front of our hips. And then for the backs of our hips, I'm just going to fold up my cushion, place my heels on top of the cushion or towel, And then roll on down towards your toes, and then roll on up again. Nice and controlled, relax your breathing. And then finally, inside of our hip, standing really wide, double shoulder width, and lunging your knee over one foot and then over the other. Okay, so that's our warm-up. Then we're going to go on to a little bit of strength. So because the position we want to get up and down from is a bit of a crouching, lunging position, we're going to work on the hard part first. So I'm going to use our trusty cushion. I'm stepping over it, and then I'm lowering my back knee to the ground, and then back up, and then down again. So I'm working on the lower part of the lunge, the hard part of the lunge. The top of the lunge is really easy. You'd be able to do 100 of these, but I think you'll find you'll get much more tired, much more quickly, working on the part that we don't spend a lot of time in and therefore we're not very good at. So working on the bottom part of the lunge, good for your balance as well. Do 10 of these ones and then we swap our legs over. So the cushion gives you something to aim for, but also adds a bit of comfort for your knee. You can have your weight quite even with this one, maybe 50-50 on each leg. Wasn't counting. Let's swap legs. We're going to do the same exercise. So you're getting strength and endurance by just not giving us the rest that we need to feel good. So efficient exercise, long lunge, cushion, lower down, halfway back up, and then back down again. Well, I was counting that time because I'm feeling those ones. Let's swap legs. So stepping past the cushion, lift your heel up on the back leg, lowering down halfway back up, and just up and down to the cushion. Two to go. Last one. Oh boy, okay. Join me for one more round. If you want, you can always add a little bit of extra resistance in the shape of a dog. Ready? Sit and up. Stepping forward, knee to the cushion and back up again. I might show you from side on, just so you can see that I'm not doing anything crazy through my back. No leaning back, you don't feel very good, and you don't need to crouch too far forwards. Just staying pretty tall through your trunk. Oh boy, okay. Other leg. If you forget which leg you did, you'll remember pretty quickly as soon as you start doing a couple. So, last round. Okay, so that's one exercise that is guaranteed to help. I think it's a toughie. The next one is called a sumo squat. So you can get a little bit of strength through your adductors as well as your hips and your thighs. So you stand with your feet wider than your shoulders, and you can just let your toes naturally point out. And this time you're going to squat down, see why it's called a sumo squat, and then back up again. So when your toes point out a little bit, your knees must follow your toes. You can't have your knees pushing forwards if your toes are going outwards. Whichever direction your toes are facing, your knees have to follow. We'll do 3 more. Must be close to 10. And now we're going to start to add in a little bit of balance and strength. So standing on one leg, I'll show you side on. I want you to reach one leg back as you reach your hands towards your foot. So you're really just hinging through your hips. You start with a soft knee, you don't have to have a locked knee, and you're not doing squats, we've done enough of them. You're just reaching your hands down towards the ground and then back up again. So if you like, you can see how many you can do without putting that leg back on the ground again, but it's there if you need it. So if you need to, you can just rest that foot on the ground anytime you want, anytime you need to. Otherwise, reaching towards the ground and then pausing at the top of the movement. Ready for other leg? So I'll show you side on from the other side. Reaching down and then coming back up. Okay, so back to that first one. The sumo squats, feet really wide, almost double shoulder width, toes pointing out as is comfortable. This time we're going to make it a little bit harder. So I want you to squat down and then you come up 1/2 to 3/4 and then back down again. So you're just working the lower part, which I find the challenging part, the part we don't really hang out in very much. Two to go. Last one. Okay, back to our arabesque, dipping bird, toe touches, standing on one leg. Try not to curl your toes, it doesn't help. Try and relax your toes, spread your toes, keep your weight even throughout your foot, throughout your heel and the ball of your foot. Reaching one arm, both arms down towards one foot, and back up again. Just trying to keep the movement through your hips. You're just hinging through that hip using that as your axis. We don't have to make this one harder. I think it's challenging enough. One to go. And then other leg. Two more. Last one. Okay. And then we're on to our last round of our sumo squats. So feet really wide, toes pointing out. I'm going to make it a bit harder though, if I can get my assistant to stop licking your tail. Yeah. Sit. Okay, up. So a little bit of extra weight, still working on that lower range, and then back up. Make sure they're comfortable. Oh, I've had a big day, sleeping in the sun. Well, that's a tough life. Nearly ready for a walk. Still working on that bottom part of the movement because it's the hard part where we get stuck. That's where we want to focus on improving and strengthening. That's why it's hardest to get up and down from the bottom of the toilet as opposed to the first part, out of a low couch, some dining chairs, some bucket seats in cars, working on the hardest part of the movement. You've been a good assistant, thank you. Okay. So then we've got our arabesques. So standing on one leg, last round of these ones. Reaching down and then back up. Two to go. Other leg, last exercise, nearly there. Two more. Last one. All right, and then you can just shake it out and loosen up. So, getting up and down off the ground more gracefully. One of my favorite functional goals to work towards. We'll do another one next week. I'm thinking something really exciting like how to put your socks on more easily, one I'd like to work towards. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Okay, see ya.